Yeah, morning, good evening, or good night, depending on what time you're watching, girls. It's Nathan here, and it's time for news video. What is up, Stealth Squad? How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome. So, this is just a quick trap guide, which I'm going to be obviously explaining to you guys. This will be going from Gen 1 all the way up to Gen 8 on what heroes you could be using for your rally leads, what heroes you might be using for your rally fillers, and what formation you could be using. So, we're going to start off with Generation 1. Now, as you can see, I am using purple heroes for this one because of the legendary heroes are not that great for rally leads. Now, for Generation 1, you do have the legendary heroes as Nikolai, Maddie, and Lucky. Now, Nikolai and Lucky both have health and damage reduction abilities, which make them slightly worse than the purple heroes for a rally lead. So as you can clearly see, I am using Chef, Maddie, and Eva. Now you may be questioning this formation type. Now the reason why I'm using this formation type is due to the lack of troops. In Generation 1 and 2, I personally would use a 5% inventory and then split it down the middle for the hunters and riders. The reason why I would do this is because of you do not have enough to be able to fill up 4 marches, and you are restricted on your troops. Now, I'm going to go over the resonated heroes first, because the resonated heroes will only apply for a certain amount of time, or they won't apply at all. Now, let's go through them. Wacko and Daryl, they are not good rally leads for trap. Do not use Wacko and Daryl. When we go on to Joker, Joker is a very good rally lead if he is a level 4 or above. If he's level 4 or above, you can resonate him with your best rider hero, and you can use him for Generation 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you get to Generation 5 plus, you are just going to stick to Tweak. You will not be using the Resonated Hero, and you will not be changing your rally lead of your rider once you get Tweak out in Generation 5. Now, Mikoto. Mikoto can be good throughout all the generations. All you need to do is resonate her with your strongest hunter hero. Make sure her abilities are level 5, that is a very important thing. And then Mikoto can be a rally lead for all generations. She is very good and very powerful. So, as I said, for Generation 1, you would be using Chef, you'd be using Maddie, and you'd be using Eva. Now, Maddie is a free one which you can get up as a legendary hero pretty easily throughout the first few gens, and she is better than the other rider heroes. So this is a great formation for the first generation. Now for Generation 1, 2, and 3, when you are setting the rallies, you can simply be just setting them as, oh my god, why did it do that? Okay, you can be setting them with 1 troop marches. So you can set your rallies as 1 troop marches. Now the reason why you would set your rallies as 1 troop marches is so that you can rotate your troops throughout the rallies. You can probably get into 3 rallies in them 5 minutes instead of them being stuck in your 1 rally. So personally, if I was you for the first few gens, I would be setting rallies with 1 troop and rotating your troops throughout. Okay, so that is the very first generation of heroes. Now, if we're going on to Gen 2, let's put this more into a balanced, like 50-50 formation sort of thing. Now, Generation 2, I would probably be sticking with the Chef. I would not be moving from Nikolai to Wolf. I would probably, you can use Wolf. Wolf does have damage abilities, but he does also have that health ability, and you don't really take. Oh, this one also has health ability. Saying that, let's have a look. They look like they'll probably be about the same. This has a definite 25% damage, but if you have got a Wolf with all 5 abilities, you can use Wolf as your rally lead. Now, I would stick to Maddie. Trish and Miho are not great ones for Generation 2 and 3 because they both have a health and a damage reduction ability, so I would not use those. Now, if you do have your Jeb strong enough to be able to use him as a rally lead for Generation 2, then be my guest. But Eva is still a great one to be able to use throughout Generation 2 if you do not have Jeb and you do not wish to spend the money. Now, the reason why you don't use Sarge is because Sarge actually has a health ability, and Eva actually has 3 damage abilities, so she does better for trap than Sarge does. Now that is for Generation 2. You can use those heroes. And of course, as I said, I would stick to this formation where you do 5% and then split the hunters and riders. That's a nice solid formation for Generation 2. Now, Generation 3, we are moving on to using Ashe, Maddie, and Zoe. So Ashe is a great damage ability hero, so is Zoe. You could be swapping her Maddie out for Miho, but don't forget Maddie just does have more damage abilities, and the stat difference for your riders is not that much. Now, Percy, when you're using this formation, now you've probably got a few troops. You're not just stuck with 1 or 2 marches. You can go on to 3 or 4 marches. So Percy, I would move on to the 5-30-65 formation. This is due to the amount of troops you have. 5-30-65 is a solid rally percentage to use, and you can probably get a couple of marches. You can still rally with 1 troop and rotate your troops throughout the other marches. So that is still an option. Don't forget you can save 4 options. Now personally, I would not put troops into your own rally until you can do 4 formations. If you can't do 4 formations, just stick to doing 1 troop in your rally and filling up the other rallies. Now, Ashe is a great one for damage in the for Generation 3, and she does considerably change your rally damage. Now, the reason why you get rid of her on Generation 4 is actually because it takes a new battle mechanic. A new battle mechanic comes out when Generation 4 comes out. So when Generation 4 comes out, the best rally leads, if you look at Julia, she actually has damage abilities, all damage abilities over here. So she becomes really strong when it comes to a rally lead. So you can use your Nanami, Julia, and of course Tyler at this point. Here's your Tyler, here's your perfect formation. A perfect set of heroes for Generation 4. Now, as said, Nanami is great when it comes to the new battle mechanics. Her damage ability, I believe, on the third power is very good, and that's what makes her so good as a rally lead. Not as a joiner, but as a lead. So this is the Generation 4 I'd be using, and I'd still be sticking to the 5-30-65. You can try and move it down to like a 5-25-70 if you want, but don't forget you are limited with troops, and if you can't even fill up the 4 marches over here, then it's not worth it. Now, I would also make sure, obviously, your main rally is 1 troop if you can't fill up those. If you can fill up the 4 marches, then start filling up your march. Don't worry about fiddling with a 5th march. Just start filling up your march when you set it. Now, try and rotate your other marches as quickly as possible throughout the time. Sorry, and now we're going to be moving on to Generation 5. Generation 5, you would be sticking to Tyler. You're not going to be moving over to Roxy. Roxy is not a strong rally lead. Roxy actually does very little damage when it comes to rallying for trap. She's great when it comes to PvP, but she's not that great when it comes to trap. Tweak is an absolute beast though. So throughout the rest of this video, I will always be sticking to Tweak. Tweak has so much damage potential when it comes to rally leading. So personally, I would be on Generation 5 using Nanami, Tweak, and Tyler. If you do have your Mikoto at level 4, as I said, you can use your Mikoto throughout this. So if you do have your Mikoto at level 4, personally, I would swap out your Tyler to your Mikoto, which is attached to your Roxy. So you won't use Roxy herself, you're just going to be using her strength, but using Makoto's abilities. And that's the reason why at Generation 5 you would be using this. If you don't have Mikoto, don't use Roxy, go back to Tyler. Tyler has some great damage abilities, and he is still strong for trap. Okay, so you can start reducing your riders at this point if you do have enough troops. You're at Generation 5, you've now broken maybe the million and a half troops. You may be able to fill up 4 rallies, you may even be able to start filling up the 5th rally. Now at this point you can reduce your riders by quite a bit. At this point, strong one is 5, 15, 80. So 5% inventory, 15% riders, 80% hunters sort of thing. And you can be using this for all your formations. Obviously, you can do 7 marches in total. So if you want, you can stick to the 5, 30, 65 if you don't have the amount of troops you other players have. but you would be getting slightly more points if you do the 5, 15, 80 for the next 3 sets of heroes. Now, the next 3 sets of heroes, you will actually be keeping the Nami and you'll be keeping the Tweak throughout. So you've got the Nami and Tweak, you have got the Makoto, of course, attached to your Roxy. After Roxy, the next one is Luca. So Luca would be your next hero which you'll be using if you are on Gen 6. So this is the rally heroes you'll be using for Generation 6, and you'll be using this sort of formation. For Gen 6 now you probably do have enough for 6 marches, and you can go to the 5, 15, 80, and you'll be able to do this throughout the course. Same as Gen 7. Gen 7, all you change is your last one. So obviously my next strong one is Grim. So where is Grim? There you are. So I'd be changing from Luca to Grim. And this will be my next formation. Nanami, Tweak, and Grim. And I'd stick to the 5, 15, 80. Now this is the rally which I'm setting. This isn't the rallies which I'm joining with. This is the rally which I'm setting. You're keeping these heroes as your main march. So you save this as formation 1. This is the one you're going to be setting to do the damage on the trap. Nanami, Tweak, and Grim. Now when you actually go to Generation 8, it does change slightly. This is where the formation and the heroes start to change. So of course, as you know, the next one from Generation 8 is Tina. So if I go on to here, I do have Tina, but my Tina is really weak. So I wouldn't actually use Tina. I'd stick to Grim. Or Makoto, of course, if you do have the Makoto. As I said, Makoto can be used throughout if she is level 4. So now you'd be using Hank, Tweak, and Tina. Now this is where the formation changes. It actually goes to a 35, 10, 55 formation. So because of the abilities, the inventory does quite a lot of damage when using Hank. So you're going to be using Hank, Tweak, and Tina for this set of heroes, and you will be doing a considerable amount of damage, doing a 35, 10, 55 formation. That said, this is a Generation 8 formation. It does go completely out of whack compared to the rest because you are sending extra inventory, but this is how you do extra damage. So that is the heroes which you'd be using from Generation 1 all the way up to Generation 8. Now, as I said, when you do get to Generation 4, you will be swapping to Nanami because it does go on the new battle mechanics, and Nanami is not that strong in the old battle mechanics. The way to see if you are on the new battle mechanics or not is when you go onto your reports and you go onto war, there will be a replay button. It's called battle, I believe. You press that button, it does a replay of the fight. That is when you're on the new battle mechanics. That's the reason why Reservoir Raid and Reservoir League does not have the replay button, because they still use the old battle mechanics, and that's the reason why Resonated Heroes are so strong in there. The only thing which you don't do is when you get to Gen 6 is you don't use Wacko anymore. Now, the last thing which I'm going to go through on Trap is obviously the fillers. The fillers. What fillers should you be using for this? Now, you can say 4 formations. Heroes do not make a massive difference when it comes to what ones you use on the fillers. They do extra damage, but they don't do like an insane amount of damage which will change the whole entire world sort of thing. So you're going to be having to do 7 formations, and it's probably going to be quite tough to get your extra formations in if you're setting your heroes. So personally, I would not tell people to use set heroes on their 5th, 6th, and 7th March. I would use whatever you have. But for your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th March, while you can save them in the side spot, why not use your the heroes which are going to make a considerable amount of difference? Now, when you got Generation 4, you're going to have 3 of your best ones to use as fillers. You're going to have Zoe, you're going to have Sarge, you're going to have Eva. Now, Zoe, Sarge, and Eva are all great ones as filler heroes because they all have this 25% damage buff at the beginning. So you can have one formation with Zoe saved, one formation with Sarge saved, and one formation with Eva saved. All 3 of those will have a 25% damage. You'll use the same formation as you use on your main march, and all you would do is save it onto your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th marches along the side over here. Now that is how you should be setting up your heroes when it comes to Trap. Of course, for Generation 1, Generation 2, Generation 3, you are going to be using your Sarge or your... No, you're going to be using your Eva or your SoE, possibly for your rally lead. Now, you may be confused on who else you should use at that point. At that point, you want to use anyone which actually has a damage ability. So obviously, if you're using your Eva, for instance, as your rally lead, where are you, Eva? There you are. You're using her as your rally lead. You can use your Sarge still as one of the rally fillers. Now, if you have a second one, and of course, sorry, it's not out yet, you can use someone like Chef, which has a 25% chance to do 200% damage. Or you can use, for instance, Wolf. He also has a 25% chance to do 200% damage. Or you can use, I don't know, let's say Tony. He has a 25% chance to do an extra 200% damage. Any of these damage abilities are great fillers as your second, third, or fourth march while you don't have SoE, Sarge, or Eva. Now that is personally how I would do Trap. As I said, that goes from Generation 1 all the way up to Generation 8. Now, when you are doing this, personally, I would be opening up your Trap at level 4. That is level 1 crazy, I believe. So level 1 crazy is level 4 Trap. You don't need to pass that. Because the defense is so low on level 1 crazy, you get to do a lot of damage. The first rally which hits will get low points because you'll instantly kill it, but all the rallies after that will do a considerable amount of damage and will get you great rewards. Now this is how I would do Trap throughout Generation 1 to 8. There may be Resonated Heroes which come out in the future, but personally this is the one which I would use, and I hope this guide helped you no matter what generation you are on. Okay, so obviously if you think you might have missed something, just go back, watch it, because at the beginning I mentioned about the Resonated Heroes, and I didn't mention it during every single one, because obviously I mentioned the whole entire bit at the beginning. Okay guys, thank you all for watching, much love to you all, and I shall see you guys next time. Have a good night guys, and peace!